name is Ralphe Armstrong. I was born in Detroit, and I went to Barber Junior High School, and I ended up going to Cass Tech High School and Northwestern High School. I went to Interlochen as a kid. And you know, by the time I got out of there and Cass Tech, and you know, I was playing a lot of classical concertos. I was playing the Fantasy by Domenico Dragonetti and Giovanni Vattesini concertos as a kid, you know. So I was very much into the bass, you know, the classical masters and that sort of thing. And then also I was exposed to another great Detroit musician called Paul Chambers and James Jamerson. Detroit has a rich history with the bass. I don't know what it is about this place. It's just got the bass written all over it. It's a lot of the great bass players of the world have come out of Detroit. Well, I got started. Well, I got my big break. This is a true story. I was coming home from Cass Tech High School on the bus, and I stopped off at Michael Henderson's house on Seminole. And he said, man, I know these bad cats up in Connecticut that want you to play bass. They need a bass player, man. And so Mike was playing with Miles Davis then. So I played over the phone to this guy named Sandy, and it happened to be Michael Narada on the other line. Next thing I knew, they sent me an airplane ticket. So I flew to Connecticut and played, and they were astounded how I could play, you know, and I played a fretless Fender bass at that time. But one day, back in 1974, yeah, I believe it was not around this time, near February, I got a call on the phone. He said, Ralphe, this is John McLaughlin. I said, what? Oh, how you doing? It's a friend of mine on the phone. He wants you to play bass with him. We want you to play with us. I was like, what? I'm going to play with this guy? Who is it? And I'm 16 and a half. Guess who was on the phone? Carlos Santana. I'm like, Carlos Santana is on the phone, want to talk to me? And he said, I want you to play with me. And Mahavishnu's told me so much. And I'm like, I think my stomach went up to my nostrils. And guess what? About 4 months later, I got an airplane ticket to go to New York and rehearse. And we did some concerts, did one concert with the Buffalo Philharmonic with Michael Tilson Thomas. And then I was on my way to London, England, to Air Studios, where the Beatles recorded. And I stayed there a month and recorded with George Martin, the producer of the Beatles. And that was a heck of a time in my life. Now, I took 20 years out of my career to raise my children. I have 3 kids. I have 2 boys, oldest Alan, Evan, and my daughter is Angela. And I decided to take 20 years out of my career to raise them because the way I was traveling, they didn't even know who I was. You know, who I am, was. But who am I? Who is Daddy? You know, so I decided to raise them and do the right thing and to raise them. And I found enough work in Detroit to feed my family and live a middle-class lifestyle. A home, a beautiful home. Everyone has their own bedroom. I had a 4-bedroom house, you know, 3,000 square foot, a den, a family room, a beautiful driveway, a nice yard, and excellent schools. Excellent. Was right near East English Village, near Grosse Pointe Park. Lived near Outer Drive area for years, for 22 years. You know, so I was very impressed with the education. So we had excellent schools. My kids went to schools. They didn't have to worry about any violence or anything. This is recent times. But I raised my kids. They played t-ball, and I'm just so happy. My son speaks fluent Japanese, Evan. He writes Japanese. Guess where he learned that? He started at a school I went to called Cass Tech High School. Same school I believe George C. Scott went to, Greg Phillinganes, Wally Cox, you know, Ron Carter, Jerry Allen, you know, one of the greatest schools in the United States, not the United States, but the world, right here, world renowned, you know. You've got some of the best people in the world. When I say people, you've got a diversified culture. I didn't know that one of the top designers of automobiles And a great artist lives walking distance from where I live at. Carmelo Pardo, he's a great artist. He lives in Detroit. You've got myself, you got James Carter. So many inventors. You've got Michael Griffin, who has a electronics cord, which I use. It's sold all over the world. Well, we've got a lot of talented young people. You've got Hassan Belgrave, Marcus Belgrave's son, that plays the clarinet, saxophone. I mean, this kid is like, oh, I think he turned 13. I'm 13 now. I said, wow, I remember that age. And he's playing like he's 42. You know, and we've got all of this talent here. But we can't, that just blows me away. It's something in the water. I know a lot of pockets of cool around Detroit. You know, you can go to Burt's. There's music at Burt's 7 days a week. You got Baker's, you know, I don't know what they're doing there, but there's always something. You got Harbor House. You've got Caju Cafe. There's something to do every night in this city. Matter of fact, it's too much to do. Because sometimes I don't know where to go. I'm going to Dirty Dog, or I'm going to the west side. There's places all over this metropolitan area to go. There's something every night of the week. There's entertainment, there's music, anything you want, we got it here.